brilliant win on the weekend, mate. I thought it was inspirational. It was one of the best get-ups I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, we're up against it, Dermot, at half-time. Yeah, we had two of our better players off the ground in Campbell and Daffy, and listen, it was a great opportunity. There wasn't much said by the coach at half-time other than the younger fellas, you can really, this could be one of the best wins of your career, or you could just use the injuries as an excuse and just go by the wayside. But the boys really stood up, you know, young Rory Hilton and Dragosevic and young Kingy, who we got from Collingwood. They were terrific in the last half.
You've got Matty Richardson. You talk about injuries, now he's out, but I can see a real benefit in that you have to use someone else now in the forward line, and it's a bit refreshing your look, as in, like Jason last week said, that you should never take him off the ground.
No, I didn't say that at all.
Even if he goes outside team rules,
I didn't say that at all.
because he's Matty Richardson, a superstar. Don't worry about the rest of your 41 on the list who you're trying to teach, Danny.
That's what
You're
Jason...
a dead-set tool. I did not... I did not say that at all.
That's a total tool. And
I didn't say that at all. What I did say was, look, I understand you're trying to introduce a new culture to the Richmond Footy Club, one that's based on team rules and discipline. But the point I made was I think you need to be flexible. Now, taking him off at a crucial time, he did break a team rule. Surely you could have addressed that after the game. Because the time it took him to get off the ground, you to talk to him to get back on the ground, it's a one-point game. Who knows what could have happened if he was out there?
Yeah, I suppose, Jason, you can look at that in two perspectives, I suppose. When I took the job on at Richmond, I just said, if they want a short, fixed coach, you're after the wrong bloke.
Yep.
I'm here for the long term, and I think it's not going to happen overnight. And you've only got to look at North Melbourne with the way Dennis Pagan uses his players and the way they use their term rules. Now, we're not copying their game plan or their term rules by any stretch, but I just think it's going to be a learning process for all players. And,
but surely you don't push a rule to the expense of 4 points.
Well, listen, in the short term, you'd look at that, but the long term, I think it's going to have great benefits for the club.
I'll tell you where you're wrong with that. Nick Daffy, on the weekend, you dropped him because of what he did, which I think he deserved to be dropped. He went off the ground injured, came on the last quarter and was inspirational when I think it was a corky he got early in the game, first quarter. And that's what it's about. It means that you know what the rules are. And not to say he went off injured as in he meant it, but I'm saying he came back on and he knew he had to lift for the team. And that's what happens when you send a message out to the whole group.
Now, I've got to say, I mean, you've got a pretty good sense of humour at the best of time. When you look back at yourself, and what have you responded to the way you saw yourself in the coach's box when we did that? And actually, I'm going to throw one here, mate. I'm going to throw one at you. You haven't seen this yet. Have you seen yourself in the coach's box?
I saw it, but I thought there was no more to be said of that one. Is it you any more?
No, it's a good one.
I'm sure he said it was all right. Do you want to see it? We don't have to use it.
Roll, it's all right.
It's actually good footage.
Oh, really?
I want to ask you here.
Coming back, hang on. Farmer's coming back.
Hang on, leave it.
Do it, all right, just do it.
Do it.
Yeah, bring him on.
Hey, Spud, I've got to ask you. I mean, look, you're pretty clear. You've got to question the intelligence of the bloke on the other end of the phone if he needs to be told that many times. Who's on the other end?
One's from Tasmania, Butchie Gale. And the other one's the Flea Waitman, so...
No,
I just want to get my point across.
We have to add that they were taken at different times in the game. But is that what you're trying to avoid, Danny? That, you know, maybe a little bit of that passion that you've got for the game, you've got to watch that, you've got to not be involved in the game yourself?
Yeah, I've got no doubt, sure. I think that, you know, I've only coached 5 games.
Yeah.
And listen, that was a fantastic experience for me to have that taped. And a lot of the things I've taken on board, but under the real heat, you know, still some bad habits come into it. But I think eventually you'd like to sit there like the Lee Matthews and Malcolm Blight when he's coaching, just sitting there smoking a cigar, as you might say.
Let's hope none of the bad habits that Shorey illustrated during his coaching
I was going to say, did you learn anything under Shorey, or just what not to do? What not to do?
Listen, you've only got to look what's going on now. I think those young kids last year and the last 3 or 4 years, I think it's all been said before, but you know, the Damien Atkinses and Rupert Betherises, they probably wouldn't have got the opportunity a lot sooner than they did.
Well, you're taking on the Sydney team this weekend, and it is tough. It is going to be tough to win back-to-backs for you. Let's have a look at who's in and out. Bennett, Fosdyke and Kirk come in, and for yourselves, good to see Gasper coming back in there, but you do have to break that, don't you, with the 2-game streak going in a row for you?
Yeah, we do. I think, you know, you look at that, there's our half-back line there. Darren Gasper, he's still got to get through his fitness test tomorrow night, and Leon Cameron and Wayne Campbell. It was one of the things I wanted to implement at the club, to maybe have a sturdy half-back line. And listen, Darren Gasper's form was terrific before he got injured. You know, he's taken on all before him, and I think he's really stepped up to be a really fantastic AFL player. Young Aaron Fiora, he's one of 7 on the bench there. He's number 3 in the national draft last year from Port Adelaide. He's a real talent. Young Ezra Poyer's there, and Tawny, of course, who got concussed against Fremantle, so has to get through tomorrow's training session as well.
I think Casper would have been the centre half back. If there was a State of Origin side, he would have been picked because he beat so many sides. So we look at the Sydney side, and
Be started with stars.
they lost to Collingwood, and Leo Barry went off in the first quarter, injured.
Well, tips, guys?
Sydney at home, I think you have to go. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll pick Sydney at home, even though my mate's here. Sydney at home.
You're going to witness an absolute lie here, because who's next to me? Tigers. Good luck, Spud. We wish you all the best. Right. Next on the game, we go cross-country with our resident rat bags, Carl Jars and Dale Lewis and Australia's richest footy competition.